Charup Mujumdar welcoming you all to the English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. ICT finalizes probe reports of cases filed on crimes against humanity during July-August uprising, with ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina having command responsibility. Stateside appeals against High Court verdict in August 21st grenade attack case, acquitting all accused, including BNP's acting chairman Tariq Rahman. Chattogram City Mayor Dr. Shaadat Hussain emphasizes on coordinated steps to resolve waterlogging in Chattogram. At least 436 Palestinians, including 183 children, killed since Israel resumes bombardment of Gaza. And qualifiers for 2026 World Cup scheduled to recommence in November. Those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The investigation agency of the International Crimes Tribunal has almost finalized probe reports of at least 4 cases filed on charges of crimes against humanity and mass killings during the July-August uprising of the students and masses. Ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has the command responsibility in these cases. Chief Prosecutor of the International Crimes Tribunal, Muhammad Tajul Islam, said this in an interview with the BTV. He said these investigation reports will be submitted to the tribunal next month. With this, the trial of crimes against humanity and mass killings taken place in July and August will formally begin, Tajul Islam added. Apart from Sheikh Hasina, a good number of former ministers and state ministers are among the accused in the cases of crimes against humanity and mass killings. The state side has appealed against the High Court verdict in the much talked about August 21st grenade attack case that acquitted all accused, including BNP's acting chairman Tariq Rahman's life-term imprisonment. The Attorney General's office confirmed it today. The appeal petition is now in the cause list of the Appellate Division. Earlier on December the 1st, the High Court bench of Justice AKM Asaduzzaman and Justice Syed Inayat Hussain gave the verdict acquitting all accused, including Tariq Rahman. The High Court has acquitted former State Minister for Home Lutfuzzaman Babar from his 17-year imprisonment in the case filed on charges of recovering arms from his residence. The court declared the 17-year jail of Babar illegal. The High Court bench of Justice Mustafa Zaman Islam and Justice Nasrin Akhtar gave the verdict today. During the caretaker government in 2007, the case was filed with Gulshan Police Station in the capital on charges of recovering arms from the residence of Lutfuzzaman Babar. Police filed the case after 7 days into the alleged arms recovery. Metropolitan Special Tribunal No. 9 sentenced Babar 17-year imprisonment on October 30th in 2007. Shishir Moni, lawyer of Lutfuzzaman Babar, briefed the journalists and said the case was filed to harass the former State Minister for Home following his arrest. Chattogram City Mayor Dr. Shaadat Hussain emphasized on coordinated steps to resolve waterlogging in Chattogram. He said this at a progress review meeting on waterlogging resolution at the city's Tiger Pass City Corporation office at noon. He said that waterlogging is a multidimensional problem which cannot be solved by the single efforts of the City Corporation alone. In this regard, it is important to take coordinated initiatives by all the concerned organizations. Top officials, engineers and experts of various concerned organizations, including the City Corporation, were present at the meeting. A condolence meeting and iftar mahfil was held in memory of the late BNP Vice Chairman, valiant freedom fighter and leader of the people of Chattogram, Abdullah Al-Numan. Chattogram City Corporation Mayor Dr. Shaadat Hussain was present as the chief guest at the program organized by the Jatiyotabadi Shromik Kormochari Dol at Chattogram Wasa Bhavan. In his speech, he said there is no opportunity for infiltration in the BNP and its affiliated organizations. The late leader Abdullah Al-Numan was an expert in building leaders and activists and the soul of nationalist consciousness. He was dedicated to the struggle for the independence, sovereignty and establishment of democracy in the country throughout his life. His contribution to the politics of Chattogram will be remembered forever. Chattogram Wasa Shromik Dal President Mamunur Rashid presided over and Kaji Mohinuddin Manik moderated, while BNP's Central Labour Affairs Secretary A.M. Najimuddin, Chattogram Metropolitan BNP Joint Convener Yasin Chaudhry Litton, Shah Alam, Chattogram Press Club Member Secretary Jahidul Karim Kochi, Chattogram Metropolitan Mohila Dal President Monwara Begum Moni and leaders of BNP's associated organizations, among others, addressed the occasion. Now, international news. Gaza's health ministry said at least 436 Palestinians, including 183 children, have been killed since Israel resumed the bombardment of Gaza in the early hours on Tuesday. A Hamas official, Tahir al-Nono, said the group has not shut the door on negotiations despite the renewed Israeli bombardment of the Gaza Strip, but insists there is no need for new agreements when a signed one exists. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the new bombardment is only the beginning and that all negotiations for the shattered Gaza ceasefire, which lasted just under 2 months, will now take place under fire. Meanwhile, Israeli military said they have killed the de facto Prime Minister of Gaza. Israel carried out several airstrikes which resulted in the deaths of 13 people and wounded dozens, including women and children, in Khan Yunis and Gaza City. Israel on Tuesday launched its most intense strikes on the Gaza Strip since a January 19th ceasefire between it and Hamas ended more than 15 months of war. The bombardments, which came after the collapse of talks on extending the truce, killed more than 400 people, the health ministry in the Hamas-run territory said. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said in a statement issued by his spokesperson that he is shocked by the Israeli attack, which has killed a meaningful number of civilians. The statement said Guterres strongly appeals for the ceasefire to be respected, for unimpeded humanitarian assistance to be re-established, and for the remaining hostages to be released unconditionally. United Nations chief said Gazans were being subjected to an intolerable level of suffering following the most intense Israeli airstrikes in Gaza since a fragile ceasefire took effect. The strikes, by far the deadliest since the truce came into force on January 19th, killed more than 400 people, according to the health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza. Guterres told reporters, "Unfortunately, the world are witnessing a situation in which Palestinian people have an intolerable level of suffering. With the air raids that killed hundreds of people, humanitarian aid are still blocked." However, many governments and humanitarian organizations around the world have condemned Israel's renewed bombing of Gaza. Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Jordan have strongly condemned the Israeli attack. Qatar, which has long been a mediator in the Gaza ceasefire, said that the Israeli attack has put the entire Middle East at risk of unrest. Egypt, which is mediating the ongoing ceasefire in Gaza, said that the Israeli attack is a clear violation of the ceasefire agreement. A spokesman for the country's foreign ministry, Mao Ning, said China is deeply concerned about the Israeli attack. Russian President Vladimir Putin has agreed to hold attacks on energy infrastructure targets in Ukraine for 30 days after a phone call with US President Donald Trump. Putin ordered the Russian military to stop strikes against energy facilities, the Kremlin said in a statement following a lengthy phone call between the two leaders on Tuesday. But he stopped short of accepting a broader US-backed 30-day ceasefire proposal that Ukraine has said it is ready to implement. Russia's leader raised concerns that such a truce could be used by Ukraine to mobilize more soldiers and rearm during a pause in the country's three-year war. Kremlin said Putin also indicated to Trump that the key condition for preventing the escalation of the conflict and working towards its resolution through political and diplomatic means should be the complete cessation of foreign military aid and the provision of intelligence information to Kyiv. In a statement, the White House said the leaders agreed that talks on a potential maritime truce as well as a broader ceasefire would begin immediately in the Middle East.